Greetings, Aquaba. Welcome to the Afterwords weekly discussion that follows the Sunday online presentation of the Shrines of the Black Madonna of the Pan African Orthodox Christian Church. Today's word featured our Holy Patriarch, Jeramogi Menelik Kimathi. Its title, Be a Good Ancestor. And now, today's moderator, Reverend Taliba.
Welcome to our conversation today. I am excited. I was excited by the sermon, but I am more excited that we have been joined today by some new voices and some new insights. And I'm going to start out by letting them introduce themselves, tell you something about themselves. Not a lot, but just a little. Brother Takuma.
Good morning, everyone. And I am at Beulah Land.
Awesome.
Took 11 days off work, and I'm down here doing some self-care, rejuvenating prayer, and getting my life back together.
Amen.
Amen.
Brother Takuma is a longtime member. He is a second generation member of the Shrines of the Black Madonna, so he understands about this whole ancestor thing. He has been one of our early technology persons within the church. He has also been a part of our security, and he is an absolutely amazing dad, father, and son.
Thank you.
Reverend Aquila, come and join us.
Thank you, Reverend Taliba, and greetings, everyone. My name is Reverend Aquila. I have been a member of the church in 38 years. And in fact, today is actually the 38th year because I joined on Labor Day, 1985. So I am blessed to be here, and I'm also blessed. She'll introduce herself, but Reverend Imani is the person who brought me to the church. I joined because Reverend Imani brought me to the Shrines of the Black Madonna in Houston, Texas, 38 years ago. But I've been involved in every aspect of the church's different programs, from cultivating and nurturing new members, involved in many of our activities, working with our youth through Sunday schools, and you name it, I think I've done it. And I've been blessed to have served in 3 of our physical locations. I've done time in Houston, Atlanta, and Detroit, and absolutely have spent some time on the land. So, Brother Takuma, I'm glad to know that you are being able to take advantage of that.
Reverend Imani, Reverend Imani is a part of our longtime health ministry, and she is currently located in Detroit. She has previously served in Houston. She has served at Beulah Land. Welcome, Reverend Imani.
Hi. Thank you very much, Reverend Taliba. I'm very proud to have brought Reverend Aquila to the church. We met at the University of Houston, and together we took over the Black Student Union so that we could move them from being a party organization to being an actual organization that served the Black students. I've been a member for 46 years, and I have functioned in every region that we've had, beginning with the ones that we had at that time. So I'm in Expansion Cadre East, and actually joined the church in Houston the first year of our being there. So it's just been a joy. It's been the joy of my life, the fulfillment of what I believe to be my life purpose.
Brother Zadier, welcome from Denver.
Good morning, beautiful brothers and sisters. I am Zadier. I live in Denver. I joined the Shrine in 1982 in Atlanta as an undergrad student. I came to Denver 35 years ago, so I've been in exile ever since. I discovered Shrines Online, the Shrine of the Black Madonna Experience online about a year ago, and have been a very faithful watcher, viewer, and believer. And I'm looking forward to discussing this morning's sermon by our Jaramogi Kimathi.
Well, we're all here today because we were called to reflect on how to be a good ancestor. That's an interesting concept. The idea that while we will probably not see the fulfillment of a healthier Black community in power, we are a part of it and we can enjoy the journey. We can enjoy the journey. And that's a funny thing that we start with that, because if you recall, we just finished Black August talking about the UNIA and the contribution it made. And a lot of people look at anything that's not 100% success and think of it as 100% failure. Let's reflect on that and how, Takuma, when you try something the first time and it doesn't work out, if it still contributes, it's important. Brother Takuma?
Definitely. One of the things I've learned is that you have to be consistent, persistent, and don't give up. One of the things I picked up in the sermon today, when Jim Ocean was talking about, he gave the history of slavery and how this guy, James Chad, going back to the 1500s, was creating this system of enslaving Black people, and how we have to undo that, and how that undoing is not something that's going to happen overnight. It takes a long time, but here's what resonates with me. We are in our wilderness right now. I had not heard that before. And to hear those words and then to understand that we are in that wilderness, but we also have a contribution to make. It's something that we really have to take care of.
Reverend Aquila, so our wilderness environment keeps changing, right? It changed from slavery, it changed through the civil rights movement, and it keeps changing with DeSatan and anti-educational efforts throughout the country. How do we have some joy in the journey with that changing environment?
Well, Reverend Taliba, thank you very much for that question, because I think in particular, that was one of the things that resonated with me as I listened to Jaramogi Menelik's sermon today was, what is the challenge today? And just like, I think of particularly our ancestors, or just within my lifetime, how our ancestors were fighting with the civil rights movement and, voting rights and empowering us. I think about, well, and what was the challenge that we were dealing with, coming up when our kids were coming through, and just, making sure that they had a positive self-identity. And now we're looking at this attack on our history. I think about the challenge being, we really can't, we really do have to, one, rejoice in that there's an attack on our history right now, or trying to distort African history and our history here in this country, because it has been effective, because it has empowered us, because it has lifted us and helped propel us and move us forward. So now they're trying to attack it. That's something that we need to be aware of. If they're coming after it, there must be something working about it for us. And so one, we have to fight for that. And two, we have to recognize that it has worked. It is effective. And we've just got to keep pressing and keep hammering that home.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you. Brother Zadier.
Yes, I am tuning into
they often say that nobody shoots at, you don't waste ammunition on something that's not important.
No.
So that must mean that Black people are important. We are important enough for people to perceive us to be a threat. So how should we be sharing our importance with the generation behind us next to us and above us?
Thank you, Reverend. There's so many ways to take that question. One way I want to focus on is around the technology. We are sharing that victory right now by taking our program, by taking the Shrine Online experience worldwide. We have no idea how many people we're touching. We have no idea how many people we're inspiring. We have no idea what seeds we are planting, even in the wilderness. Even as we move to that promised land, from here where we are moving people just by accessing the sermon online on Sunday, being able to take the communion, being able to go to the African history study class on Saturday or Bilokuti on Thursday. By sharing Shrine Online right now, we are doing the work.
Okay, that's important. Reverend Imani, I happen to know that you are a grandma.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Five of them.
well, I got 5 too. My basketball team will play your basketball team, okay?
Okay, that'll work.
But looking at being an ancestor, he talked about epigenetics. What are we sharing? What are we sharing? What are we showing? What do you, the healthcare professional, talking about mental, physical health, what do you want us to share with that next generation as we become the best ancestors we can be?
For my grandchildren and any other children that I come in contact with, I am finding every opportunity to imbue them with the spirit of the power of our Blackness, the power of our history, and what Jaramogi refers to often is our grit and our determination to be free. I make sure, as a matter of fact, I have a one of those little libraries in front of my house because we're in the path of a couple of schools. So I make sure that the books that I put in there and that other people put in there speak to Black children. I've had people try to sneak in all kinds of nonsense, religious nonsense and social nonsense. But I have no problem taking those out and making sure that we have a supply of books that's going to speak to our children's Blackness, because one of the major tools that our oppressors have used against us is our shame of being Black. Our self-hate is the biggest obstacle that we have ahead of us. So when our children are raised to relish their history, their Blackness, our culture, then for me, that's the most vital thing. And I do that with my grandchildren, as well as any children that I come into contact with. And more so with the parents of the children that I come into contact with. And I think that that is most important. My whole life, I've been very much into Kasanyawatu because I believe in
you got to
what
translate.
Kasanyawatu is community outreach, inviting people to inviting Black people to see what we're doing, to hear about what we're doing. And as a matter of fact, I have a sister that's been coming in to help me take care of Beth, my little sister. And I almost got her to sit down and watch service with me, but she had another client that she had to get to. But I've already given her all of the access points to the church. So I think when anybody around us expresses any search for knowledge or the results of their own knowledge that they've been able to obtain, I feel like it's my responsibility to push them further, to mention the books that I've read, like Reclaiming Stolen Earth, which is one of the best books I've read in a long time.
That takes me, Reverend, excellent books we're going to share.
Yep.
And we share all those on our Bila Kuta service. I was thinking, Brother Takuma, you're out there in the work world, and you're in the middle of, you're an urban planner. And Jaramogi talked about institution building, and he pointed out that we have the responsibility to build our own institutions, but we also have to work within the institutions that are out there. What word can you give to those people who are, whether they are teachers or they are urban planners, who are trying to do things that serve our needs, but who get pushed back and pushed out? How do you keep going with a smile?
Interesting, you asked the question. One of the most powerful institutions that we have is where I'm sitting right now, and that's Beulah Land. And I was sitting talking to
many of our listeners may not know what Beulah Land is or where it is. Can you share?
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
I was talking to Reverend Judith yesterday, and I said, I cannot leave Beulah Land without going back home, doing something different than I was doing when I came here. Beulah Land is a 5,000-acre farm in Calhoun Falls, South Carolina. 5,000 acres.
Amen.
Little city. And the importance of that is that we can take care of ourselves. Here's the thing. We got the institution. We need to train ourselves by coming to the institution and learning how to do the basics. I grew up learning how to garden and forage with my dad on the east side of Detroit. I took basic electronic and woodworking classes when I was in middle school. These things don't exist today, but we do have an internet where you can put your hands and click on something, learn about something, and then get the real world experience in a place like Beulah Land. We also have institutions in Africa. We have institutions in Detroit, Atlanta, Houston. Brother talked about Denver. The fact that we are able to be connected virtually means that we can connect to our people all over the world and make change necessary from within. But if we aren't educating ourselves, we should be having Jaramogi Abebe sermons playing every week.
Yep. Well, and we're offering lots of those things. But one of the things that you're doing that's really important, Takuma, right now, you realized that in order for you to be the best you needed to rejuvenate, right?
Yes.
Can you speak to our brothers and sisters and remind us about how self-care allows us to be our best persons, so we can contribute, so we can be good ancestors? Is it a shame to rest? Do brothers rest often? Do y'all take care of each other better than I'm saying?
It's interesting you mentioned that. I got over 8 weeks of vacation time, and this is the first time in 12 years that I have taken time for myself. And I kind of feel bad about taking time for myself because of something. But in order for me to continue doing what I do, I need to take time to rejuvenate. I need to take time to, last night I saw stars and the moon and it was so quiet. Brother Khalifa, I heard crickets. I saw a deer walking up and, y'all, and I'm from the city, y'all, okay? I'm from Detroit, Michigan, where sirens and gunshots and people screaming are and loud music playing is the norm. So this for me, and I'm only here for 3 days. I may not come back, Reverend Talisa. I may call.
Oh, your wife. Yes, you're coming back.
Say,
Okay.
and let me end with this. I'm 64 years old. I've been in the church 59 years. The third realm of my life is me looking at retiring from the city next year and what I'm going to do with that next phase of my life. And sitting here right now is helping me figure that out.
And that's important. That's important. Jaramogi was urging us to see our place in the universe. He started out, if you recall, talking about letting us look at the Sphinx and the pyramids, where at our best, we rise above our animal nature, and we can then become one with the universe and work the will of God. That's how he began. In Bila Kuta, we want you. Bila Kuta is our online ministry. It's our online community. You are all welcome to join us anytime, any day. Go on Shrine Online. You will find some content that will blow your mind. You will find some music that'll make you feel better. We want you to feel connected because that's what our sermons, that's what we're here for. We're here for all of that. We're here for you building an institution with your block club in Denver. We don't care if you live in Waycross, Georgia, and you can only find 3 other people to start a little library in front of your house. That's right. We'd like you in Topeka, Kansas, doing what you can. We're here to encourage you to encourage yourself, to consider the incredible possibility. We ain't carrying dung no more, but we do not have a kingdom yet. That's right. Last words from Reverend Akila, Brother Zadier, Reverend Imani, and Brother Takuma. Reverend Akila?
Well, real quickly, one of the things that I did, the other thing that resonated with me that Jaramogi shared in the sermon today was how there are things that we can do right now to help build on, to empower us now as we go through this journey as ancestors and recognize how it can translate or be passed down to the next generation. And particularly the things that came to me were compassion, how he talked about compassion for one another, about learning how to forgive one another and to learn to trust one another. These are the tenets of the hallmarks of what I learned when I became a Black Christian nationalist and a member of the Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church, was how to accept Black authority, how to look at each other and understand our need for each other, and how to also love each other, understanding how the condition that we're all trying to come through. And as I really appreciated that, because I want to employ that and continue to do that with our brothers and sisters everywhere we go, everywhere I am, and hope and want to see that go to the next generation.
All righty. I hear you. I hear you. Brother Zadier.
I am so touched by you, Reverend Akila, talking about learning and modeling, really, forgiving one another, loving one another, trusting Black authority wherever we find it, not looking for slights, not being willing to take direction and correction from other African people. This is the work of ancestorhood right now as we live on this side of the grave.
Man.
Right, Reverend Imani.
A big thing that I got from Jaramogi's sermon today was realizing that even though I'm not doing as much now as I have done in the past, that the work that I have done in the past is still relevant now. because my personal situation had changed, I can't be at church every Sunday. I can't be there on Saturdays to help clean up. I can't participate on a regular basis. I had started to feel like I was no longer giving to the mission. And the message that what I have given in the past, as well as the things I am giving to our people, our community, and everyday conversations, and constantly Kasanya Watuing, so that other people can have access to what we're doing now. It really filled my heart with gratitude, because I spent my whole life being a Black Christian nationalist, being very active in every aspect, and having to slow down has been painful for me. But that sermon gave me an opportunity to realize that even though I'm not the youngster I used to be, the things I did while I was a youngster and the things that I continue to do now are still of some value to building the nation.
Absolutely, Reverend Imani, and you're speaking to a whole generation of men and women who have left the active workforce, who need to understand we need y'all. There is no community without Big Mama, Auntie, etc. There is no continuity of wisdom without you. And we need to love on you as much as we did when you were running the clinic. Brother Takuma.
I want to end with these words. I believe that the revolutionary spirit of God embodied
in the Black Messiah
born
new in each
generation.
And that
Amen.
Christian nationalists.
each
Constant.
That's right. That's right.
charged through our duty. We are charged
with responsibility
out to each other.
That's right.
Charged to remember our history. We are charged to be our best self.
Amen.
So I don't know if you're listening to us, watching us at 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know if you are in Paducah. I don't know if you're in Chicago. I don't know if you're in Detroit. But wherever you are, Bila Kuta is here for you. We are a church without walls. We are a people with unlimited expectation. We are a people who are capable of unlimited compassion. Join us on Bila Kuta. Look for Shrine Online on YouTube. Look for us for our sermons. Look to join us in our work. You are a part of us. And I leave you with this from 1 John 4:20. If someone says, I love God, and hates his brother, he is a liar. For he who does not love his brother whom he has not seen, how can he love God whom he has seen? We see you, brothers and sisters. Be well.